right?
This is the other thing I just got today.
Is it a new chair? What is that? Oh. Hey! That looks like mine.
Looks very similar. I
But
cannot
mine
handle
has
that many
the-
buttons.
I
cannot do
play
it.
MMOs buttons on the side. That is a game-changing mouse for World of Warcraft.
I bet.
That's it. I got a classic mouse right here.
Very nice.
Special.
I can't see your
Got-
screen, or can't see you, but you know,
You guys with your
I believe you.
advanced mice.
This one is all lights up too, which is really cool.
You use the chroma.
Yeah,
It's really fun.
I thought about doing it with this guy, but I decided I'm not ever gonna be I'm not seeing it, so why does it matter?
For our viewer.
The one guy or
Yeah.
girl. Hey, Jen.
I'm gonna grab some coffee. I'll be right back.
Coffee. Good God. Do you not have work tomorrow?
Yeah, I drink decaf. I haven't had caffeine
Oh.
in like 15 years.
Okay. Well, there you go. Bill. Welcome to the welcome to the stream, Mr. Bill. Oh, he's putting us on.
Okay, I cannot hear anybody, so give me a second.
Oh, we can hear you though. I guess this is a no video stream tonight, huh? No one wants to see our stupid fuck faces. How much IP did we get for last time?
Give us our IP. We want it.
You never had your video on.
Oh, I can do it too.
Wait, has
Come on,
there...
Bill. All the cool kids are doing it.
Wait, I can't even. No one has their video on right now for me.
Because they all turned their video off. See?
No, I still don't see it. I think. There we go.
Welcome back.
I figured it out. I was trying to save some frames last time, and I disabled everyone's video. That explains it. Everything is coming together. Oh, hey, I recognize that shirt, D.
That's a badass shirt.
It's from Hawaii.
It looks very tropical. My wife and I were just joking, like, you reach a certain age where you start rocking Hawaiian stuff, because it's just what you do. Like, t-shirts are out for me. I can't rock them as well as I did 15 years ago, so I'm now in Hawaiians and button-ups.
Nice.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, Bill, you are looking good. Like, your beard is just excellent, I gotta say.
So what's new, everybody? I did see that Ken recently gave us a lovely update on movies and commentary. That was delightful. How you feeling after doing that? I've always felt there's a lightness. You get light. You do yoga enough, you become light, and like your movements become lighter and become more fluid. Nice. Well, I hope you can channel that energy into a great story tonight. Because we didn't die, but we sure killed a lot of important people.
Or made them very angry. Now we gotta go figure out what deal Mr. Man made with the devil.
Where did we even explore what happened when we got back, or was it just like we jumped in a portal and blinked out and that was the...
And just so you know, we went right into a volcano. The end. What's that? I can't hear you, Bill. Or D. Oh, there you go. That would do it. Oh, wow. It's so weird to be able to walk around the room and have my headphones on. I had to try it.
All right. I gotta say, now I want live action. I want to see you acting out the full thing. It's like in, what's that, Ready Player One?
Yeah.
Little hazmat suit. I can feel it all now. I can move all the way around. It's great stuff.
See, but then I'd have to wear pants every time I came on camera.
Or would you?
Well, just imagine if you were like any game character and you just ran all the time, like even standing still, you're just running, you'd be in great shape.
Oh, yes. Oh, I can reset my luck all the way back down to 0. Of spent, at least.
That's right. Thanks, Ken.
We're lucky again.
I think we were relatively blessed from those two encounters. We didn't... I don't think there was any mental damage to any of us. At least
Oh.
our... We all have our limbs.
Okay. Yes.
Well, it's no worse when you go into prison and you fart and someone goes, "Just my size."
Teledildonics is a thing, though.
Come again? What word was that?
Teledildonics.
Okay. Define this word.
Too.
Haptic feedback via sex toys that can be connected over wireless.
Oh. Okay. That's
What the hell?
what I imagined.
Dee,
Okay.
did you add something to our server? When I put slash, it shows me Tatsu. What? I don't know what this is. It says like slash pet interact.
What? Tatsu.
Church it? What?
A Tatsugotchi?
I'm so confused.
Oh, I bet that's the Discord thing.
I don't know. Discord had a lot of updates today. It took me a while.
I'm so confused. Oh, apparently Get Dangerous has its own server shop.
Let's get dangerous.
They're remaking that, by the way.
What,
What are they
really?
remaking?
Yeah. Yeah. So they had enough success with rebooting DuckTales, which is brilliant, by the way.
Oh, it
Hello.
is absolutely brilliant.
Darkwing they're redoing.
Yep.
Darkwing Duck!
Well, the small episodes that they had on Disney Plus that they had Darkwing. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Holy shit.
What the hell is this?
This Tamagotchi thing is funky fresh. Huh. Thanks, Discord. You added a Tamagotchi.
Good. So my Tamagotchi can die in Discord now.
Sweet. Blah, blah, blah. Ooh, we got a fancy
Oh wow, Ford Motor Company lost a huge Supreme Court case today.
Why?
They argued that if a car crash happens in a state in which the car was not built, Ford is not liable.
What?
That's their argument. And the Supreme Court went 8-0 saying that's not how this works.
That's weird.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a Giuliani defense, but it was pretty good.
It's up there. I'm sorry, we built the car, we designed it in Michigan, and we built it in Kansas, and the parts came from Canada, so we are not liable for anything that
Well, it's
happens
not to
in
be dreaded
Minnesota.
in Texas. We're just saying.
Oh, don't worry, you got Georgia now with some of the tightest restrictions on voting in America. Long live Jim
Took-
Crow, you're back. We haven't seen you in a while.
2 hours.
And no water. You can't give them water.
We need to see your IDs, and we can challenge your ID if it's authentic or not.
Speaking pretty dumb, what are we getting into this week?
Yeah.
And them Duke Boys blew the lid off hell. And Boss Hog is a demon pig from the pits of Stygia.
But those Duke boys, they always seem to come out clean on the other end.
Gross.
Oh, wait, that's right. I can actually have full monitor.
Yeah.
Hey.
Did you
double
see the
monitor.
meme I shared for you?
Yeah, I saw.
Second monitor, what do I do? You're for Discord.
Oh God.
I mean, it's not wrong. So my entire laptop screen is for Discord now. There's John Doe.
My God.
I am so jealous. I'm playing my whole thing on my laptop, and I have like 4 screens split in there, these tiny little screens, and I'm like, what's going on?
Oh,
Yeah, I've got the.
I'd gotten so used to just playing on this that I had. And then there's Ken
Man,
set
that
up.
is beautiful.
And I've got my people over here. So, and there you guys are. Look at these beautiful people.
Look at this, beautiful people. Wow, that's just beautiful.
It's the work at home like setup there. I've been slowly upgrading my whole setup here.
That's great. I want like a monitor that almost like arcs around like you see in the movies.
Yeah.
Well, Sean has a 36-inch diagonal widescreen curved, like the one in the GIF I just posted. He said it's fantastic for Civilization.
Oh, I thought you meant like Civilization as a whole, not the game. It is best for Civilization to have these.
Damn, they're really expensive.
Mm-hmm. But he's a graphic designer, so
Makes sense.
he has a lot of widgets and palettes and stuff open.
So,
All right. Ivar broke.
it's like a save point.
Is Ivar still at a -1 will because we have not rested? Ivar, as he comes out of that shadow, he's not going to wait for us to get back to the manor. He like screams across the mediums in his head, and you guys don't see it. He like looks normal, calm, but out in the medium, he's reaching out directly to Lucifer with a direct call of, "What contract did you make?"
You're trying to talk to Lucifer immediately? God damn, dude.
Ivar.
Yeah, but you guys don't see it. Ivar just like pops out and he's screaming across the medium as he realized that this contract is out there. He's like, "What did you do?"
Not very many people just goes right up to Lucifer and is like, "What did you do, dude?"
Well, Lucifer had come to us earlier asking for help. If he wants
know,
us to help solve it, we're gonna have to we need to know more details about this. Yeah. And if we want to help him more restore balance,
To the force.
We had a GIF contest at work today
Did you win?
as part of a team building thing. I destroyed them. Bunch of like plebes, just like you know.
did you have to make your own glyph, or did you have to find ones?
It was reaction GIFs, so it was
Oh.
like you had a scenario pop up, and then you had like 30 seconds to post your reaction GIF, and then people voted on it, and it was like it was no contest. I'm like, guys, I do this for a living.
For a living? I don't know if you do it for a living, but you do it for
I
fun.
do.
This is a hobby.
I get paid.
No, it's his...
You get paid?
Yeah, you don't get paid,
Gee, why aren't you getting paid?
dude. Don't you see the diamond next to my name?
No. What are you talking about? No, I don't see any diamonds next to your name. You're just making stuff up now.
In the
Smash those babies.
roster on the side.
Oh, you actually have that open? But you're server boosting. That you're not getting paid. You're paying.
Yeah,
that.
I get paid.
Anyway, Lucifer, does he answer the call?
Yeah, Lucifer. He's like, new hell, who this?
New held who this?
I wouldn't say so much screaming, but it's almost like this mantra, like, what did you do? Almost like a parent talking to their child before they start screaming at them. And Ivar just shakes out and looks over at the group and says, "We need to see the contract that was made, don't you think? But perhaps it's time to get back to the manor and find out what kind of clusterfuck we have gone into."
Do we have Avalon with us? I know, but
That's
we
sad.
didn't scoop him up.
Well, define fucked.
Fine. Fubar? Fubar, I
And,
think is the right word.
and John just does that little quip. He goes, define fucked. Smiles
was muted.
real big, and then face plants.
Well, Barrick said something really witty, but I was muted and I don't remember it, so we'll pretend it was perfect.
Chef's kiss.
Ivar's still just staring off into nothingness, like, and he's like having this conversation in his head to the ethers, like, what the fuck did you do? Because can we presume that with Ivar's experience with these sort of bizarre thing in the occult, that he realizes how bad this situation is?
Oh boy, did we time skip?
Are we in Georgia?
D29 occult from Ivar. Is Ivar aware? Was this created by Ivar, or does he know, like, mixed with his sense of direction? Are we in the same place as before, or is this like the time I created a forest? This is another bigger forest.
We're in
What do we-
dimension?
Sound on the stream.
Do the trees here look similar to the ones that were around Copperfield in that little weird underground nature land?
Oh, guess there is a sound issue. Huh. Yeah, let's see. Can we hear each other?
Oh, I think I know why.
Oh.
Okay. Thanks for letting us know. Hopefully, it's starting to work now. I corrected an entirely different problem if it was me. Hopefully this works.
Did it work?
I hope it did.
Did it?
I don't know.
Well, let me check.
To all of our friends in the outside land, does it work? Can you hear me now?
Are there any more mashed potatoes, veggie? But there's
It seems to be working. I can hear.
I know
us.
why we don't have a ton of viewers. Critical Role records tonight. That's why we're competing with them. And there's 78,000 viewers concurrently.
Well, they could come to one of us. It's like one of them could come over. Come on.
Right?
There's plenty of biscuits.
Oh god, I'll have more. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, can I have my other thing? As soon as you finish.
I like the music stream right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you just see me like gazing off, it's because I'm distracted by the pretty shapes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. Okay. All right, so, yeah, you're staring at all this now. Of course, everyone's eye is drawn to the incredible beauty of this scene out in front of everything. The part that catches your eye is that there is a dyed-in-the-wool cottage. Now, of course, you've got Natasha there, still sort of in the rings of grief, kind of dealing with that. You can tell that she's having like a hard time kind of keeping her emotions in check. The other soldiers that are still down there, there's still 4 men that have to be extracted because they were still left in the chamber just before you guys went down to the main one. But, you know, trying to get this situation all sorted out. You're just looking at the cottage, though, is surrounded by this incredible garden. You can see herb, you can see all kinds of vegetable in it. There is a powerful, almost floral scent as, like, you know, wind sort of picks up and you guys all catch it. It's very fragrant. And the cottage is quite large, probably suited for a family of 4, to say the least. 2 stories. There's actually what seems to be some kind of smoke coming from out of the chimney, even though it's cool, but not cold. And yeah, so that's about the only like form of civilization that is here at the moment.
So Barrick's gonna try and see if he can see any heat signatures or anything like inside the cottage to see is
Well,
it empty? Are there 50 people in there?
now you see one. There's a guy it's a male, and then he's wearing what looks to be very simple clothes, and he's got gloves on, and he's got a sun hat, and he's just out there seeming to be involved with his garden quite readily.
Does he have a handlebar mustache and his name is Bob?
No.
Ivar's on the comms to Mr. Douglas. Mr. Douglas, do we have any indication what is going on here? We walked out into forest, and Ivar did not create.
Takes it a minute. And it's like, come again. We have men en route to have you extracted. We do not have you on any kind of radar, though. You're not even pinging off of GPS.
Very strange. We walked out to subway exit, and now we are in woods. We're just curious if you have any visuals.
We have nothing. We're commencing a sweep.
Riv, what do you think is going on here?
I don't fucking know. I tried an awareness check, but just I guess I see trees.
Yeah.
So.
Red roses too.
Yeah, with 21, all you see is exactly that. You just see the area around you as it is. That's all. And so,
Should we go say hello?
Niktasha's like, I don't think we have any other choice. Dark Knight with replies like, there's nothing hostile here. At all. I'm seeing an abundance of wildlife, all in throughout the trees. The only person that seems to be giving off any kind of signature whatsoever is him, indicating the same man that Barrick found. Huh.
Well, let's go. And Barrick will start striding towards the individual.
Are you using your authority to stride?
I can.
Well, Riv decided to use some of her magic, and she sprouted some wings and flew over. Might as well be majestic about it.
Right on.
Right on, right on.
Alright, well, do you fly, like, into the garden, or do you land outside the fence? What's the deal?
Well,
I'm a
actually,
butterfly.
the first thing I would want to do is fly up above the tree line and see, just do a 360.
Yeah, so it's like the village where we're actually in the middle of New York, but we're just on the other side of a stone wall.
Yeah. That movie has never happened before.
Quick, send the blind person to fetch medicine.
Yeah, right.
So, when you go up above the tree line, it is just forest, plains, and distant mountains. You can even see the sparkle of large bodies of water that are out more towards like the out more towards the east and the south. No sign of
I would,
city anywhere.
Yeah, I think since Riv has probably lived a lot of her life, this is seem very alien to her. Although she travels a lot, so it's not like. But seeing this much tree, so yeah, I'll flop back down and relay this to everyone else. It's like, we're definitely not in Kansas anymore, folks.
What's Ivar's time sense doing? Is he aware of the year?
Nothing's changed. Everything's exactly
Everything's
the same.
it's not like this is another time sitting on top of our time, and it's like a wrinkle in time.
No. Nothing temporal.
No Tesseract.
I've been falling for 30 minutes.
One of the best scenes ever.
It's so great.
Well,
So yeah, Barrick will, raise his hand and call out to the individual to try and get their attention.
John's gonna be passed out on the grass, which when he's woken will surprise him.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, because you actually have Dark Knight who actually picks you up from the shoulder, like underneath your left arm. He like lifts you up. He's like, something's happening. You should follow.
Yeah. What? Why is there grass?
We
Just
don't
pick
know.
him up by the scruff of his neck.
Why do I take grass? I pass out.
Come, John. Let us go find out what is going on. And Ivar is just moving a little slower than normal.
Oh, so we're gonna talk to the strange old man in the cottage in the middle of the forest. Yep, that seems about right.
That's normal for us.
You don't see Puck anywhere, do you?
Kidding.
Fuck.
Well,
The person outside or inside?
outside. They're in
Okay.
the garden working.
Yeah, so Barrick's gonna, like I said, he's gonna walk up and whatever the Barrick version of "Hail, good sir" would be.
It would be exactly that. Hail, good sir.
Do you have a permit for
Louder.
this?
Louder grunting. You got a license for your permits?
A license for your permit.
You guys walk. You move up this slow incline that goes up to the cottage. And he like pokes his head up from what he's doing and sees that you're all coming. And he has like one eye that is really powerful, like blue, almost like a sapphire, but that brilliantly bright coloring for the gem. The other eye happens to be this sort of strange, nearly like a silvery chromatic ebony. And he just, like they look like normal eyes. It's not fully encoding, but you can see that the actual coloring around the actual pupil follows those motifs. So, it's very interesting to look at.
Normal sclera?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
okay.
It's not fully enclosed. It's nothing like that. But he just...
You're looking for something very specific.
We'll know like osteogenesis imperfecta with like a blue sclera. We could just like break his bones, right? So.
Ivar, just looking at him, wants to do a quick legend lore to see if he would recognize who this person is.
It's Heterochromia Man.
Yeah. We're just gonna pretend he didn't do that roll.
Can't see shit, Captain.
Well, let me do one quick thing here. Yeah, so he don't have any idea who this man is.
We need to find out why there's a forest in the middle of Night City.
I don't think we're in Night City anymore, Ivar.
So John's
Yes,
still
we
kind of
are.
hanging on Dark Knight because he's still a little backed out. So John just kind of kind of drunkenly waves. Hello, random person we don't know who's probably going to provide us with some sage wisdom. How you doing?
He actually starts to laugh whenever you start to do that.
And then he's just kind of like hanging. It's like, see, called it. Sage wisdom.
You always strike me, John. You always know what's coming. It's like you've done this before.
Well, he just waves like this, and he takes his like loppers and just rests them over his shoulder for a moment. Lets the side just drop over, and he just kind of waits for you guys to arrive. He's like, "So, it looks like he managed to pull it off. One hell of a gamble. You remember? Strange, shadowy figure, glyph on the floor, all of that."
Mm-hmm.
He's got like a fine, like white, very well tended to beard, by the way.
Oh, is this Karen?
No. Karen's got a different appeal, that's for sure. But no, he's just sort of like, you can call me Lux.
Lux?
That's my name.
Don't wear it out.
Barrick's gonna extend an arm in greeting.
He actually reaches out and gives you a shake. He's just like, you know, Lux.
Mm-hmm.
That old romantic language of yours, referring to things that are light or illuminated.
Indeed, Lux Eterna.
He just nods again. Well, there you go. Welcome. Sage wisdom, I don't know about that, but I do have at least some stratagem to offer. As it is, I've been given my own reward, so now it is my turn to make sure that my part of the bargain is upheld. Why don't you come in?
What bargain would that be?
He's like, come in. I'll tell you.
See, Barrick listens, and he's just kind of like tottering back and forth.
The hell happened to Bill?
Forest.
And then he kind of got himself expended. He just got himself expended whenever he was doing his thing.
Yep.
Remember both, Ken, I don't know if you remember this at the end last session, both Ivar and John put their last efforts. John helped Ivar bring the whole building down. Or at least bring the room down.
I wasn't there for that.
Yeah, so it was...
they burned all of their tokens.
Yeah, we went down hard. We achieved it, but it came at... We're both exhausted and spent.
Nice.
So just as you're helping Ivar, he's got his hand on your gauntlet. You feel the energy coming, but it's not coming as quickly as it normally would.
Oh, that's fine.
Well, he has everyone enter in, so he's got this incredibly ornate picketed fence that you guys just walk through the main gate, just lift a little old-fashioned latch and push through, and it's, you're now in sight to this particularly extravagant garden of a sort. Very well tended, all of it blocked out, and it's, you've got raised garden with all sorts of, like I said before, herb, vegetable, and manner of food and things to eat, along with some alien type, what either seems to be gourds or roots, or you're not really sure what, but they seem to be rather prolific, going from your right as you walk the path, and then they filter quite a ways down past the cottage and beyond. This place seems to carry on for acres. This just seems to be one part that he's working on for now. So, as he is going through and walking you guys to a certain section here at the front of this cottage, he's like, here we are. You wanted to know the bargain, what it was. Normally, I don't even bother getting myself involved because there's not really a need to. Balance and things like that will always shape itself over. If you think that you're going to have any effect on it, proves just exactly how your ego is far above and beyond your comprehension. Balance will always sort itself out. Your survival is what's questionable. Never forget that. However, that being said, you can look here, and you can see that there is this. Well, there's a part of this garden that has strange vines crawling up various posts. A lot of them have thorns, and the rest of it. And you start to look at it a little bit more thoroughly, and it starts to become very much, in your own eyes, kind of like a topographical map of the various districts of New York against the budded shores, of the Atlantic and the rest of it. Because you can even see that there is actually irrigation running through a small section of it to feed the rest of it. But these posts run tall, these vines are all curled up. You also take notice of something that looks like a rather profoundly disturbing looking beetle, more or less the size of a pack of playing cards. And they'll be crawling up on one thing or another and moving around. Not many of them, but you'll see the shell pop open and the wings up, and they'll take flight and move somewhere else. However, despite the fact that you're looking at these inordinately large insects, you don't think that they can actually notice that you're here. In fact, you're watching the activity that they perform, and they mill about doing what they're doing, almost like you would see in any kind of almost National Geographic type episode. They're just doing what they do. And he's like, see those there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Those would be the little things that have been causing all kinds of unrest in your world. Massive amounts of unrest, in fact. I think there was, 23 of them?
The beetles are the outsiders.
He just nods his head one more time when everybody affirms it. He's like, well, those nasty little pests are creating havoc, even though this right here has its own sort of majesty to it. And he indicates to it, and he's not wrong. There is something about this section of the actual garden that seems to have a mystique to it. The darker vines, the darker blossoms that come up from it. There's actually really potent, powerful, blooming flowers that they're about the size of dinner plates in certain areas. They almost look like a sunflower, but they don't have such a massive core to them. It actually is quite narrow with these large, spindly, I don't know what they're called, but it's the little limbs that come, not limbs, but you know what I'm talking about, the little outstretched of whatever they are, that usually sometimes hold nectar, but it's the center part of that flower that seems to extend forward a bit more. But, it has a lot of that, and there are various sections that are in there that have these kinds of flowers and blossoms in them, some larger, some smaller. You can see that the beetles themselves are ignoring those areas for the most part, but they are in and around, and they seem to be somewhat prolific as you start to count across the tops of these plants and the rest of it. He just goes like, that's something that must be dealt with for sure, if your survival is what you want.
Allegedly.
I think what we want is to ensure that the balance goes on throughout the lands. And what we have just come from concerns Ivar deeply as unsettling balance. And if you tip balance too far, it throws things off and takes a while to fix, and may even cause pain in our own time.
Well, as I said, Ivar, and he just kind of looks over at you. You can see his gaze is kind of like scanning through you in a way. He's just like, balance is not your issue. Balance will always be constant. Balance will never end. This universe, in its present existence or in its termination, is all a matter of balance. There is no thing that could possibly upset it. However, you can create all kinds of havoc, which these little pesky guys seem to be wanting to do. That seems to be their favorite thing, in fact. Just agents of chaos, each and every single one of them. If you watch their behavior close enough, you'll see exactly why it is that you are here. So, anybody who wants to do an awareness.
Ivar's going to do an awareness as he's just kind of leaning there and seeing if he's aware enough. Ivar's tired.
Slave, bring me an ice.
Oops. Put a.
You get that 3 in there.
Yeah. You're good.
There you go.
Ooh!
Oh, well,
Damn!
John is lucid.
Lucy's like, wow.
John basically goes, "Huh. Well, that's all fascinating. I see everything, and it means nothing."
Well, he takes a look at this vast garden, and you start to realize that there is a place, a very specific location, where these beetles seem to go into and out of frequently. And it starts to kind of go around in your head. Now, if you don't personally, as a player, know exactly what that could mean, you can always roll tactics and figure out what it could mean, otherwise in character.
Would you be able to do it in? Would Ivar be able to do it in a cult?
No, it'd actually be something more tactical, more logical. It's
Can you said it looks like the Eastern Seaboard, right? New York and all that.
Yep, it
Can
stretches out
Barrack
across.
overlay
Yep.
Night City?
Yes, he could. That times
Right.
the times marquee is a really good thing.
Oh, I got a exploder.
Ooh.
Nice.
I just want to see all of a sudden out of Barrack's eyes, like
Got
the
another
beam
one.
comes down, and then there's Night City, all in digital and grime, just getting lowered over the garden.
So
You're
John
muted,
just
bud.
goes,
Muted, buddy.
I want the cyborg, projector from the center of his forehead that he just like. I was watching that. I was like, okay, Barrack needs this. Barrack needs this. Barrack needs this.
I like it.
So you can see it inside of your own head, but nobody else can see it because it's not a projector.
Right.
Your times
Yeah,
square
no,
marquee
it's
will-
it's a HUD.
Yep.
So
But yeah.
Riv apparently had some kind of epiphany because she rolled a tactics and got an exploding roll.
Yeah.
and John's still a little punch drunk, so he's like, "Do you see the hole that they're going in? That's fascinating."
John's like, do you remember on YouTube there used to be bug fights?
Yeah, so you guys realize that what's sitting there in that location happens to be probably and most likely some form of portal or entry point. And if you could get an exact location, you would literally find the funnel for where all of these creatures are going and coming. So the
I
outsiders
figured it
are
was
using
Dolorosa's or something.
possibly, but that if that is true, which is likely, Delarosa may not know about that particular breach. If it is a
If
breach.
that is where all the bugs are coming from, if we put poison in hole, we get rid of bugs.
Yes, but you could also do some serious damage to the garden as well, Ivar.
Yeah, we don't want to contaminate the groundwater. This is a stretch.
Don't worry, in my
metaphor.
country we used to use thing called DDT. Gets rid of all problems.
Also has a tendency to remove fingers and things from newborns.
Ivar still has fingers.
Ivar's got extra. Want some?
Yes, look, I got
Um,
11.
So in the Times Square thing, am I able to get an idea of where that is?
Yeah, you have an approximate longitude latitude that you can actually create because there's not really a physical address that you can apply it to.
Right.
But there is definitely a longitude latitude that you've got from that. So you've got a
He's triangulated.
guesstimated coordinates that you could go to if you were wound back there.
Hey Douglas, can you check this location out for us? There might be something worth investigating there.
Duh.
And
I can do that.
he's just gonna send it to Douglas.
Yep. Of course, you send it to him with probably partial images and the rest of it, and he's just he goes silent for half a second, while Lux is just kind of going around and still million with his garden. He's like, "Where the fuck are you?"
Still trying to figure that out, but there's some garden that is a. There's a garden here that seems to be an analog of the city.
There's a hole in space and time, and it's just lovely because we've got a wise old mage telling us, "Oh, I'd be quiet."
He just kind of looks over at you, making those replies, just like, "Mage." All right. Nonetheless, you've got what you're looking for. More than enough information to employ your new little toy and give it a try. And besides, manage to get yourselves a few of these things captured, perhaps all of them, the real work can actually begin.
I'm sorry, what's the real work?
Yeah.
Well, stopping the inevitable, as it were, and pulling off the impossible. Because if it is inevitable, technically it cannot be stopped. But in your case, you'll have to manage that. Certain sacrosanct contracts, as it were, not necessarily meant to be breached, found themselves in falsehood. As a result,
Yes.
this, and so much else.
Would you be able to tell us where we are right now?
I suppose it depends. The Romans may have referred to it as Elysium, perhaps. Those who are Christian and get it wrong would probably refer to it as the Garden of Eden. In my case, this is just merely one existential reality that is overlaid to the top of yours at all times without you noticing, and I just so happen to be the caretaker.
You're the light bringer.
And it's like,
Lux.
not to be affiliated with one fallen so far.
No.
Yay! It doesn't register.
Wow, dude.
You're using up
right.
all your ones.
Yeah, really. I guess this is a good time for that.
Is
The
that
dice-
3?
the dice want him to occasionally quip with things like, "Oh, Elysium? Does that mean we're dead again? Because that would really suck." Oh no, wait. That was the last group. They died. No, you guys are fine.
You guys
Fine.
are fine. You're fine.
And he's like, but really, in fact, a lot of those notions are very limited and myopic and have no comprehension truly what this place is. It is the fabric, the weave, the very element that keeps all of these things together, and of course, with a little bit of love and attention, it will stay that way. So,
Well, you've been a gracious host.
Yeah, how do we
I
get
do
back?
Most grateful. But I think we need rest. Is there anything else you can offer to help us be able to take care of the bugs in the garden?
he just reaches inside and he plucks this small, sort of slightly jagged looking leaf, and then a few more for everyone. And he's like, here, just chew on that.
Ivar, with that familiarity of being handed something that you don't know what it is and what it's gonna do you, just grabs it and takes it like it's nothing new to Ivar.
He starts crushing it somehow.
All of a sudden, a syringe comes out and he's
Oh,
got the
jeez.
spoon and he's like,
Yeah,
All right.
Well, he-
if you put the leaf inside of your mouth, there's actually a very subtle, almost sweet-like flavor that comes from it. And the moment you start to chew on it, like the sense of being enlivened goes from the inside out. Your body responds immediately. Ivar, you're stone cold sober with no maleffect.
Wow. Huh.
So, and the penalty for exhaustion, whatever that might be, all of it's gone. And he's like, now.
"Thank you."
And he's just like rolls back his older, like his plaid sleeve, just like, I think it's time for you to go.
Well, thanks for your help.
Thank you, Lux. It's been quite a pleasure.
I just like does this and is like, off you go now. And as he turns around and starts to walk away, you can see that the scenery and the environment and the dimension travels with him fading out, leaving you guys on concrete streets inside of a dilapidated structure.
Well,
Well,
that was
John,
new.
and they're going, oh, this is normal. I'm glad I wasn't.
That first wave of unwashed body and urine hits your face, and you just know you're home.
Yep.
So
Well,
yeah.
that was, I don't know. I want to say surreal, but that seems to be normal for us now.
Fun, right? Yeah, fun.
Douglas, have we appeared back on the radar?
Well, it's like, yes, you're pinging GPS now. We're headed your way.
We're ready for pickup.
Natasha's like, I'm going back to my place. Let me know if you find any other necessary or important details, and I have men to extract. And she looks over at Dark Knight, is like, understood. And puts a hand on her, it's like, we'll be in touch. And they just
Before she leaves, Ivar is going to offer just a general form of etiquette to know if he knows what the right thing to say to someone who just lost somebody that important. Ivar's
Apparently not.
Man, this is our crit fail night.
Yeah, really. Making a social fail.
I mean, like, seriously, you're just like, look over at her, she goes, you know, like, basically, I'm going back to my place. He puts his hand on her, and just before she leaves, you cut a loud fart, and that's literally how she, yep, just brat like that, and then she's gone. Not more than a few
Ivar
minutes
feels
later.
better now.
A few moments later, you've got armored AVs that are landing just outside of your location. And it pops open, and you've got, you know, just Alex looking out from the inside with, you know, he's got a rifle up like this, just waiting. And, you know, he's just like, let's go.
Be nice.
Wow.
That was a
All right, so Eric's gonna hop on in and offer Ivar a hand getting in.
Barrick's offering a
Push.
hand to Ivar?
Yep.
You do realize what's going to happen to you, right?
Whatever.
Well, you're basically all very much capable of keeping your focus intact, so unless you're wanting to warp him out of mind, that's up to you.
I'd like him to just feel a little jolt of a reminder not to touch Ivar. Thank you, Barrick.
So the AV
And then-
ends up picking up.
on the ground going, no, I'm fine right here. Great.
Well, I was reaching my hand out to you, but Ivar got there first.
He's like, come on, give us a cuddle.
So the only person left behind from Natasha's original group is actually Michael. He's watching you guys all load up, and he's like shaking his head. You didn't
Why is
see
he
me in
shaking his
there.
head?
He's like, you
There's
didn't see
room
me in
for
there,
the
did you?
AV.
But he just like, you didn't see me in there, did you?
Oh.
Should we have?
I was like, I was standing right by you, but you were walking like you were in some sort of a haze in a fashion, but you weren't really here.
Oh, because we saw God.
No.
Or was it God? No.
This was
We
not
saw-
God.
Saw
It was
Gardner.
the angel Jerome.
I suspected if you even got within a certain AU of his exact presence that you would liquefy into your base elements.
Well, that would be neat. And then he just kind of conks out on the chair.
That'd be novel.
So
Isn't that kind of what happened to Ivar?
he's like, I won't be needing a ride, thanks anyway. But,
But before he leaves, Ivar just goes, Michael, when we came out, were you back on normal city?
I never left. It was only you that actually left.
Ivar then goes on to describe what we just saw and experienced.
Yeah,
Have you ever dealt with anything like this before?
He just was like, oh yeah, you don't have to describe it. I've been there.
Where was there?
Kind of hard to explain. It's part of one of the major houses of one of the greater points of interdimensional construction. Needlessly said,
I see it.
it's just probably a power plant is the most baseline of what you'd call it, but it's so much more than that.
That's weird.
So nothing to be afraid of. Thank you.
Only be afraid if you make the caretaker angry, that's all.
So don't trample his garden. Got it.
Basically. Safe trip.
Farewell, Michael, till we meet again.
He just nods his head. Till then. And then the AV seals up, and you guys head back to the Douglas Manor.
Wow.
Yep.
That
When
could've
you
been
arrive,
worse.
you go moving inside. Douglas is in the war room. Alex manages to escort you all to it, and you can see him basically just moving a 3D model in that central terminal. When he's like moving around, it's like. Well, if this has any significance, turning to you guys as you guys enter the room, it's no wonder that we were unable to find anything of note. There doesn't seem to be anything particularly interesting to this.
You looking up the latitude, longitude I gave you?
I did. Approximately 357 miles from our own location right now, south. In the middle of nowhere. A part of an industrial complex that was never fully completed. It had never turned into Fringe, nor was it turned into any kind of combat zone. It's just kind of nothing.
Well, perhaps the liminality makes it a good staging area for portals. Yes, I do know that word because I've been reading my book.
He just nods
You're
his head
very
like,
cute, Barrick.
he just does this. It's like, well, quite excellent if I have to say so myself. But yes, this would make an excellent spot if they were able to conceal it in some fashion, or perhaps maybe the portal itself is natural. And if that's the case, then it would be much more difficult to understand and detect. Most of the time we can see these things because it is a disruption. If no disruption occurs, it gets unnoticed. But there has to be something in this area that is actually of keen importance.
Well, I'm just really hoping that there aren't gigantic beetles there.
He just kind of like looks up to the ceiling for a second, just kind of looks back to you, he's like, what?
Yeah, so
Metaphors,
for
man.
context.
That enough aside, Mr. Douglas, how comes the trap portal? Is it ready to go?
I do believe the prison is ready to engage or be deployed. Yes.
Do you think we can get it minimized so that we can put it in pocket?
I think you're thinking of something slightly different. The prison is not that large. It does not require a great deal of space. As it is,
Excellent.
once the prison has been activated, all of the geometric definitions that are going to kick into place are all held within the microscopic level. Everything that happens within there is beyond even the atomic.
Oh shoot, there's a battle.
Wonderful.
Everything that is going to be contained therein cannot find their way out unless they have a very specific means to accomplish this. Usually with it being
there's
shattered.
a ton of them. Oh,
Wait, there's a way to get out of prison? It's not permanent?
There's always a way to get out of prison. That's why you put the prison inside of another one.
Prison inside the prison. Can you make multiple of these?
We only have the one right now, and the materials and the manufacturing was detailed, ornate, complicated. We can try and make a secondary, but for now, this is what we have. And we don't have any time to waste. If you think that the outsiders are going to be here for any particular reason in number, then it would be a good idea to find yourselves there and make a test of the prototype.
Any new news on the Scarecrow, though? I mean, that was kind of a big deal before.
We're still looking. We have a feeling that he is still kept up inside of his own nightmarish realm, whatever that might be. He's keeping to himself, although we've been getting some interesting hints with some of our falsified ads and falsified news stories. There's been kind of a strange incursion in various places. Kind of what I expected, but it seems that he's trying to be patient.
That sounds odd.
It is,
so-
which is why
John,
we
do
think
you
that
have anything?
there's a secondary factor involved.
What is the secondary factor?
We might believe that he and Sinclair could be working together. And if they are, they'll be more cautious than not.
There we go.
Hmm.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead.
Well, Ivor would like to know, do we want to go to warehouse and use prison there, or do we want to go help Violet take care of her problems?
You think that this is part of her own Silk Road? indicating the display.
You skip through the back.
It's possible. I mean, the distance.
Yeah, he did.
What is that? South Delaware? I mean, there can't be anything interesting there.
Dangerous spot.
Anyway,
Not
you
really.
said it would be a perfect place for someone to set up a portal.
Either that or one naturally occurring, yes.
Yeah. No, that's why we're...
Could this prison be used to shut the portal down, to almost trap the portal itself, so anything coming in or out would get thrown into a loop infinitely inside prison?
No, it does not work like that. You have to use a specific key phrase. Once the key phrase has been uttered, it will find those who are not of this particular natural world, and they will be drawn to it. Unmistakably.
I'm gonna see if I can see.
Is Ivar at all concerned by that?
He might be.
Is John at all concerned by that?
Well, let's see if John can actually move through his.
Open doors.
D19.
Classic D19.
25.
I don't know. Oh, shoot. It's on
And you're checking for what specifically, Bill?
Just whether John would be concerned about that.
Well, there's a little concern. You're not exactly sure. You're not really sure what it is meant by natural world. Is it true that a demon is technically unnatural? Hard to know.
And John's kind of too out of everything. He's just like, well, I mean, last time I let the bastard go in the bender. So, what I miss? Oh,
Hey.
crazy old dude. Yep. Pull, get, going back, grass. Yep, still there. Yep, okay, yeah, I'm concerned.
So he's just like, well, concern or no, we must try. This is our first
Well.
opportunity to start cleaning up the mess that they have made. And as it is, you've already reported a secondary breach from your original combat. And we have not yet had a chance to debrief, although there are a lot of you who seem that you are ready to go again. You don't look worse for the wear.
Well, I think that Colt here might need a rest. He and Ivar both
should have
actually
A few minutes.
overexerted themselves quite dramatically.
And John
Ivar feels fine.
has his coffee going like, you want me to go out again?
It's like, you know, or risk the possible annihilation of your own existence. Up to you.
Look,
And
time is not on our side anymore. I know everybody likes to say that we were successful, but Ivar does not think we were very successul.
Oh,
and
no.
Lucifer still has not called me back.
Yeah, like Lucifer's going to call you back. I mean, how are you, Ivar?
Ivar's a little upset right now. There is
Ivar, you should be.
Copperfield has come and taken over place of Satan, has overthrown all order of things. And it's
Yeah.
going to rebalance, but I don't know how the chips might fall and Ivar might lose out.
Yeah. I
The
mean, you
leaf
could-
did a number on you, didn't it?
Or,
Ivar has not been sober in 3 years.
well, I don't think you should change now. Maybe we should, I don't know, test out the portal thingy on, that thingy that we want to do for the other person down in the tunnel. Because we love tunnels. And demons and other world rebellions, but maybe that would be a good place to test it.
Perhaps we go down there and Mr. Douglas uses his time to find out more about the warehouse for us and who owns it and what connections it has.
Well, we do one favor and test out the device, and then maybe get a little bit more information.
That would be the
That works for
plan.
me. Riv, are you ready to hit the road again?
I'm down. I'm down the clown.
Can I at least get a nap?
Yeah, I think that's best.
Sleep
You're a
on-
little ragged
Why don't you sleep in car?
because it's a 20-minute flight.
Ah, power nap. Very good for you. And Ivar reaches over to Riv and grabs her gauntlet, and you just feel a jolt of pure energy, and you get, I think, your one rune recharged.
Oh, I was already recharged, but thanks.
So they glow brighter then. Wong.
Overclocked.
Overclocked. That arcane processor's chunking away at another 35% over normal.
It's a Pentium 5.
Yeah. So, as you're all basically kind of deciding that you're going to take and bed down for a little bit, those of you who are still exhausted, feel free to do so.
Yep, that's what John does. He just downs his coffee and walks out.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, let me know when the world's going.
Yeah, Douglas will send out for the prison since now you guys are having a place to use it, and it'll be about 5 hours, so everybody will kind of get a chance to sort of chillax for that, at least that amount of time.
In the meantime, we're doing downtime. What was the IP drop?
Well, I think we have the IP from the last combat, and then we have IP that was probably not gathered from the session before, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right?
I don't remember getting IP from the last combat because I had to leave before you guys.
We had gotten it. We did not get it for our current situation. You held off on that until we finished all the way through. Because what's the point of giving IP if we all wiped?
Yeah. Well, more specifically, I was meaning that you're going to get IP for the last combat, and I don't believe you got any IP for the session before. Am I right?
Right.
No.
Right.
Correct.
So that means there's 3 whole points. There were 3 sessions involved. An IP's like session based. So 80.
Dang.
Yay! Just need 3 more to become a count.
Oh, jeez.
300.
300 more.
Now, the reason I ask about that is potential people having upgrades as they're resting.
Yep.
Well, Barrick is going to go and kind of hook into the computer there that he'd been using to do research and that sort of thing, and see if he can get it to run like a diagnostic on himself, because he was way more affected by that EMP than he expected to be. Like, he did not expect to be affected by it.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's ever increasing alarm at how much of him is Theseus ship sort of situation, how much is left.
What the fuck,
right?
man?
Yeah. I'm the original Vision, but I've been rebooted.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the way you think.
Yep.
Or the
Beef
fact
them
that
up,
they're
roll them out, see what y'all got.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Ivar has only seen part of the formula to create the prison. He hasn't seen the whole thing yet, has he?
No.
Would it be possible for Ivar to go study that formula to kind of figure out its dimensions and see if he could almost reality shift and create one out of his shoebox?
Well, I mean,
shoe
if you
puff?
ever had access to those documents, yes. That information
Doesn't
is
Douglas
currently-
have the access to him?
Yeah, he does. But like right now, Douglas, the Night City's Prince, Vasile, and Mr. Gray are the people that have access to that at the moment.
Got it. Ivar's not at that level yet. He really wants to finish that shoebox. You have nice prison. Look, yours like that. Look, shoebox.
Yep.
The shoe puff?
And then it's gonna have the burp on it from like Tupperware.
Nice.
I don't know what Ivar's doing. I gotta think about that. Quite
So Barrick did a cyber tech roll on himself to try and figure out what's going on with a 24.
He's
Okay.
checking himself out.
So, internal diagnostic, which now kicks up on your Times Square marquee, indicates all systems nominal, and then you see the vast breadth of said systems going across from head to toe. It would look like a vast majority of what you consider to be flesh and blood has been somehow or another converted into a biological, yet partially, you're a biomechanical device at this point. You still register as human, you actually still generate heat, you're at a 98.6 exactly. So you're maintaining your biological systems, but they're not truly biological anymore. In fact, your digestive system seems to have an entirely new enhancement altogether, and you don't know what it is, but you can see some of the ingestibles, and it's kind of surprising.
All right, time to start eating silverware.
So it looks like you can do basically soft metals like aluminum foil and stuff like that. You could actually consume that and it would work.
That's interesting.
Huh. This is disconcerting.
Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle.
And he's gonna go and try and find Douglas.
Okay. Well, Douglas is still operating him. He's actually going to be in his study by now, but you go and find him, and he just gets off the phone. He just touches his table, and you can see the monitor start to collapse, and he's like, "Can I help you?"
Yes. When I lost my arm, the feds replaced it with what I thought was standard issue. When I lost my leg, feds replaced it with what I thought was standard issue. But I'm starting to feel more and more like machine, less like man. And I just ran some internal diagnostics, and it shows I'm some thing in between, not two different parts welded to each other, but something else entirely. When you worked on my arm, after I died, we'll say, did
You were
you
very
do
close.
anything to me, or was that already there?
I am extraordinarily good when working with raw material. I am not very good when dealing with living objects. I have no means to modify you in such a manner. I will tell you this. Your body accepted the new prosthetic easily. Far more easily than I would have accepted it from most people. If what you're saying is true and that you're somehow stuck in between, it would coincide with certain rumors that have begun to spring in various parts of all of Night City that somehow or another cybernetics are a lot stranger than they used to be. And nanite technology is beginning to advance. There's rumors and things detailing that nanites are becoming much more efficient, intelligent, and capable of reconstructing themselves all of their own right, even beyond programming, causing a certain cybernetic, revolution, making someone who has any kind of nanite injections liable to become something much more than what he was. Much like
And
the
I'm
old-
sure that being exposed to all of these different planes of existences had absolutely no impact on that, right?
Well, I see where you might be going with that, but unfortunately you cannot catch a plane like you can a common cold. It's not like it's going to infect you. Being introduced to magic, on the other hand, that's a different story. It's possible that your touch to the ether itself may have inspired certain changes that are close to something like a mutation.
Well, I did expect I would catch something from Ivar, but I didn't quite think it would be this shade.
Gross.
Well, you don't look worse for the wear. I don't see tumors growing, so I suspect that you're probably feeling pretty okay, even if you're a bit more mechanical, as you say.
No, that's the problem. I'm feeling perfectly fine, despite taking concussive blast straight to the face and having holding a several 100-pound turret gun as a minigun. And by the way, we have some technocracy toys. Not sure, quote unquote, boys in the lab want to play with them, but
I think that would
it's
actually...
very effective.
It looked like it. You're still uploading the feed, I would imagine, from all the
Yes.
things you were doing.
But I mean, I know I'm not like old, you know, mythical old, but I'm old. And my back doesn't hurt anymore. My knees don't hurt anymore. My arm doesn't hurt anymore.
Like
It's
you got
weird.
yourself a good old-fashioned DNA refresh, huh? Knock you back 20 years, make you feel like $1 million.
Yeah, without the tightness around the face. It's a bizarre feeling. And I can't put my finger on it, but as long as it wasn't you doing anything, I guess I'll just have to ride this one out.
No, I can do things that are pretty much along these lines. And wow, boy, does he do it! Shit.
You
Boy,
are now
howdy.
looking at you. Oh.
Yeah, no, he just holds up his hand like this, and floating above his palm, you can see forming like almost a mist from out of the atmosphere. It coalesces in together, almost looking like water that's beginning to actually form, and then it becomes very solidified and creates a perfect sphere of like the most incredible quartz. And then just when he gets done, after it seals up at the top, it just drops into his palm, and he hands that over.
Thank you.
That's
Keep
new.
it around for good luck. Crystals are incredibly powerful things.
All right. I'll leave you to it.
He just nods his head. Always a pleasure,
Thanks
Barrett.
for the year. And Barrick's gonna take off and play with his crystal ball.
Yep. You can see that there's actually definitive lines. Now you can actually look at it, and there's a fractal code, like multiple layers of fractal code embedded into the crystal ball. All with various messages, all with various pictorials, everything. And he actually did that in a very small moment and formulated this entirely computerized sphere that looks utterly natural, but created veins that made all sorts of fractal indentations that allow you to be able to scan it and read all sorts of crazy stuff. There's even like an old Chinatown restaurant's number in there.
Good Chinese.
Barrick will definitely enjoy that then.
Yeah. But it's more or less Mr. Douglas pointing out that he's extraordinarily intelligent when it comes to the way that matter forms. So, anybody else doing anything of interest while you're in your downtime?
Riv's meditating.
Okay.
She's
Yeah, so John was doing the same, and then he bumped his time to level 2.
Oh. And Ivar, anything pertinent?
Well, I'm debating right now, and what are your thoughts if Ivar, since he's sober in a level that he hasn't been, that he almost like goes into the gym and starts like working on the treadmill. Let's see if he can get himself moving a little faster.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Get
you're feeling
that
pretty
MB
hydrated.
up.
Yeah, I mean he's at a 2, so I gotta. How much would it cost him to bump that up a couple levels?
The
Talk about
mobility.
you get your mobility up. It's
Yeah, get his
I think it's
20.
20 times current level, I believe, for stats. So 40
that would
points
be
right now, and then it would be 60
40.
points. So at 100 points, you could bump it up twice.
Yeah, he's gonna spend 100, and he's gonna go from a bonus of -2 to just a flat. Like Ivar's coming out now a little bit more in shape, and like he's like been in the gym, and
Have you not seen these guns?
in Mother Russia. Guns are you.
They only flap in the wind a little bit.
you see someone sees Ivar down the hall, and they kind of walk away from him, like he'll never catch him. The next thing you know, like Ivar's right next to you, and you're like,
I'm just imagining Ivar power walking, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
This is Ivar. Instant transmission, baby.
All right. So, has everybody done their bumps and such?
There it is. There goes Drew.
You know, there are official rules for
Oh,
power.
stats is times 10.
Times 10? Wow.
Yeah.
So how far up do you want to go, man? Because that means
So
it's,
for
it's
for a
20 and
2
30, it's
to a
50.
3,
Yeah, it's 50
Yeah.
points, not 100.
Oh, it's only 50 points.
Yeah.
Sweet.
it's times 10. So for a 2 to a 3 would be 20 points. 3 to a 4 would be 30 points.
Cool. Perfect. I'll do that. And then leave the rest for later. It's more just Ivar's kind of working out. He's feeling good. You know, he's got this new power. Like, he's trying his new reality shift and see what he can get.
Yep.
And he's, you know, he hasn't been sober in a while. So, he realized that he once used to like working out at the gym, apparently.
Okay. So, everybody still has their medallions, magical gear, etc. There's probably nothing more that you have to beef up on. And if you're all feeling rested and well infused with improvement points, then I suspect we can move on. All right. Yeah, roughly 5 hours pass, and everyone has been brought out to the main AV pad. You've got Douglas standing there with a box in his hand, and he's like just looking at everyone. And I was like, "This is it," and the box is yay big, and so.
How interesting.
And he's like, "John, I think they should go to you. Beric, if he gets absorbed on the inside of it, you're up next."
Wow.
You know, you always inspire me so much, and it's in moments like this, Douglas, that I remember you do not pay me nearly enough. And then he just takes the box and walks on.
The
think we
so
get
the
credit for the-
key phrase is on the inside. Pronounce it correctly. It's not going to be like that old movie. Klaatu,
I really
Barata, Necto. Like,
I really hope it's a post-it, just posted on the side with username, password.
well, actually, it is. It's a sticky note on the inside of the lid.
How the fuck
Not-
am I supposed to say Rumpelstiltskin backwards?
Klaatu Barada Niktu.
Yeah, that's why it was like, you know, pronounce it correctly. It's not going to be the same thing as Klaatu, Barata, Necto. But, yeah, so, but it is posted on the inside of that, and then, you know, it basically instructs to, like, burn the post-it as soon as you actually get the word in head, because it's not going to exist anywhere else.
So he just kind of reads it and shows it to Barrett so that he at least gets a recording of it.
Yep.
Thanks.
He thinks.
You like pinch his nose and his ear and like screenshot.
Dude! There's an audible camera sound out the other ear. Yeah, so the AV begins to take off. You probably just burn the post-it note in your hands. It's literally a prestidigitation. Won't even take an SFR. Just yeah. So you guys take off and start headed down that way. So it's going to be a bit of a trip, even though you guys will be flying at a certain range, but it won't be long. 40, 50 minutes tops. But trying to think if there's anything. Seems the dice levy today. All right, so you wind up at what is known as the Argyle Projects. This is the small industrial complex that was being assembled, never got finished, and was never looked back again. The AV takes low flight, landing on one of the assembled rooftops that sits about 5 stories up above the ground to give you guys a sort of good wide open view. Whenever the doors pop open, you have Night City in and all around. Now, of course, it's still, you know, it's still evening-ish, but it's closer to morning at this point. So you're seeing that subtle, like, gray pierce across the smog of the orange sky just as dawn is starting to kind of like come over. But yeah, you're looking down at the various areas below. It's kind of like this big, wide courtyard of a sort, and then you have the disassembled buildings that are lying in and around. But there doesn't even seem to be like a lot of people in here. There's maybe the scuffle of what looks to be like a local like alley cat somewhere nearby, but you're not even catching people. And it might be due to part the fact that there seems to be, at least in some way, a sense of foreboding dread, but it's not really strong enough to like send you guys running sprawling. But there is definitely something peculiar here.
No danger sense going crazy like before. Ivar's just like, this is normal.
You're sitting at normal tolerance. Let's put it that way. There's always kind of a threat of danger anywhere in Night City. The only places you ever feel completely quieted down, surprisingly enough, is like right inside of the laboratory, or the holodeck, as you guys refer to it. And subtly enough at the Douglas Manor, for all things considered. But everywhere else, it's always kind of at a 1.5, because there's always an ambiguous threat that's nearby.
Oh, so it's like when I walk down the streets of Oakland. Okay.
Yeah. But, here, you're probably pushing a little higher than standard tolerance, probably about a 2 instead of the 1.5.
Ivar's not concerned.
But inside the box, when you guys are starting to examine it, you realize that the box itself, they're embedded. So it's like a silver, almost like a jewelry box of a sort. And the box itself is made out of a metallic material. You don't really know what. It's light, but not standard. And the metal is like a mesh. Almost like it's interlaced and interwoven in such a way that it makes things, just kind of look sort of semi-futuristic. There's black felt on the inside, and at the center of which there is this perfectly ellipsoid-shaped looking crystal that has silver caps, top and bottom. At the center point, you can see what are iridescent, black, almost like crystalline columns that are laid across each other in very intricate patterns, creating various forms of powerful geometry that look like they interweave almost like you would expect from a Celtic knot.
Ivar wants to know, just with occult, does he know enough of these patterns to be able to almost like take a few of them and add them to his shoebox design at a later date?
Well, you can kind of get a high-level overview of exactly what sort of shapes, emblems, and or lack of a better terminology, I suppose. It's basically, it's almost like a form of shibari, where only done with like crystalline type materials, but it's all interwoven together and circles back.
So it's like Ivar just opened the hood of a car and he's looking at an engine and he's like, I see what this does. Not certain if I can build one yet, but I'm a little closer.
Yep, you're getting there. And it definitely gives you an interesting idea. Some of the formula that you had in your mind to begin with, from the 2/3 that you were able to project on, start to make a lot of sense just from looking at the finished product.
Well, that's cool.
I really want Ivar to know how to make these boxes at will. Think how much fun he can have in Night City.
It'll be interesting to have clean streets in various areas.
Some streets that smell like urine. Or so.
Ivar's going to make his own Wonderland.
He technically could make his own Neverland. He'd just have to conscript the right people, that's all. He could literally just have his own little construct. Alright. So, what's the plan of action, fellas? You guys are standing out here. There doesn't seem to be any prevalent activity at the moment. What say you all?
Well, Colt's ready.
Oh my god. Oh my god, D! I got it! What's my new power, dude?
Alright.
Liquid metal.
Send it on the side. Send it to me on the side. I'll add it to the sheet.
That I just posted.
Yeah, you. I thought that was the response to the 12, so it was really confusing.
Dominatrix. No man can resist you.
Oh yeah, I want to turn into He-Man or She-Ra. By the
Um,
honor of Grayskull.
The new She-Ra is fantastic.
Oh, it's so good. Have you seen it all?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, the ending is amazing. I can't. That's yeah. I got goosebumps, dude.
I love that everything that's old is new again.
But they're doing it right. It's not like they're just doing it to pander. They actually like took the character and like turned it into their its own thing.
It's
Well,
our
'cause the
generation
people who
becoming
watched
adult
it. Yeah.
that we're gonna fix this and do it right. Like DuckTales, they did it right.
I still need to watch that.
Oh, it's great. Scrooge McDuck is crazy. Like literally legit crazy, but somehow always pulls it out and you're like, you're an eccentric crazy old man.
So, you see, as we get out and survey the land and all the stuff that Dayton just described, that Riv's, as normal, used one of her runes, but then you can see her getting kind of giddy because she hasn't, she recognizes that what she's activating hasn't activated it before. It's unknown to her even. Damn. Okay, just a second. Let me add this to my sheet and then we'll describe it.
Yep.
How long does it last? Just an encounter?
It's per encounter. Just that your thing is literally per encounter the whole way through.
Okay.
Still one of my favorite
I
points.
I should just add that on here.
Fucking hot.
At least you're using the new sheet, right?
Well, I have a Word document that has my gauntlet
I
rolls
understand
on
why they're if everyone's talking about He-Man. I was obsessed with He-Man as a kid. I had that whole thing that he was doing there with the sword and the rest of it memorized. I would do that all the time.
it. Okay. So you see Riv getting all giddy, and she strikes a pose, and then suddenly what you see is her entire body goes granite, like she becomes stone, basically. and then calling back, she's like, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!" and then runs forward.
Wow. She
Heaven
runs.
help us.
Yeah, she runs forward, and then you do what? Just jump off the edge to see what'll happen.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so she's like, crack, 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 crack. Like she's like cracking the top part of the thing because she's so heavy, like and hitting the point of the heel with those running steps. I mean, she goes runs across, just goes, whoop, and jumps off the edge.
Shatter.
So you go plummeting down. You guys are only 5 stories up, so you're max 65 feet in the air. So when you hit, everything in the concrete around you, and
Hero
doing
landing.
that indenture.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
hero landing.
Yeah, you're just like crunch like that, and you can just do the full kneel thing. You feel nothing. You're just like you do that,
She's
you
giddy.
stand straight up, and you're like just looking at your hands and everything else. It feels like flesh, like you can slap it and it makes that sound. But it is clearly made out of a dense material of some sort or another that looks like, and it does take that sort of instance of like granite, and you can power through it. And of course, with the way that works, that means that like you can punch into hard concrete walls, all that other fun business, and it literally has no effect on you. You have to be slammed with a brilliant amount of force for it to work.
So more like Colossus.
Yeah, a stone version of it.
But Juggernaut. Come on.
I like
That was
it.
awesome. The best part is since I can match my what I just realized is that I have 2 gauntlets. I could actually technically make 2 golems. if I got my rolls right, I could become a tank with
like-
two golems.
Then they fusion dance and make a super golem.
Oh, then it becomes Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Riv's gonna be on a Zord in the next season of Shadows.
Oh, that'd be so cool if I could like meld with the Titans themselves. or the golems, like just like reach into them and like have a body armor with armor on the outside?
I once made a set of armor at one point that was called Golemite armor. It was actually a living armor that could be worn by a D&D character, and it was actually a power suit, but for D&D.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Tauntaun style. Climb inside.
So yeah, there's no encounter going on right now, so it doesn't last for super long.
Well, I
But-
mean, this
But
is
that's
currently
very
the
Riv.
scene. Yeah.
That's very Riv to be like,
Yeah.
squirrel. So, what do you guys
Ivar
want to
just
do?
looks up
Ding,
and
ding,
goes,
ding, ding.
We don't have time for this. Let's get moving.
John is holding the box, kind of looking out the window, going, "Huh? Hmm. Should we go?"
Yes, let's get going. And Ivar is like out the door before you guys realize it.
The fastest snail in the west. East, I suppose. We're east.
Well, I mean, Ivar now moves at like essentially flash speeds because our eyes and body are all trained to see Ivar just go like this. So now he's like, "Where
Right.
did you come from?"
Yeah, he's moving at normal adult speed instead of that of a 5-year-old. Yeah. So you're all, it's like, so you're on this rooftop and you just go bloop, like that. You can come down off the side in whatever means possible. Riv obviously taken care of with the fastest flight ever, running around and trying to see exactly what she can do. You can hear like pong of like her hitting into like metal I-beams and shit just to see exactly how
And
much
you hear
resistance she
you
can
hear
put up.
very very giddy giggling every time too.
We're
Yeah,
just gonna
like-
get the flight together with the granite and just like boom, 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 boom.
Dude, if I had the celestial wings, I would like like drop on people. I would fly up and just let it go and just drop on them.
What?
I would Goomba stomp them.
Paradise
Nice.
PD. Paradise PD is such a great show. It's so
What?
dirty. That's the GIF that he just popped in.
Oh.
Ivar just looks at John and says, "Would you like to come with me?" And you just see like reality open, and we're at the top of the building, and on the other side of reality is the bottom where everyone else is at. And he's like, "You want to come through?"
I mean, why not? And he just steps because at this point he's like still a little bit tired from like
Yeah.
everything that's going on. He's like, fuck it, and then just
All right.
I'll go with you, Ivar.
I don't know what it will do to you.
It hasn't hurt me so far.
All right, I don't know how long I can sustain it for. Come.
I'm very fast. And he just goes.
When you guys get down to ground level, you can start your inspection. So make awareness checks, people. Let's see what we got. Hobbs with his flying shit fucking jet. Okay. So everybody starts to get around to where you start to kind of get this feel or the sensation as to where this could possibly be. Whenever you start to localize on the central point of energy that is causing a minor amount of feedback, for Barrack, there's something in the auditory devices that's kind of like tweaking out a little bit, and your compass seems to go a little flip whenever you're actually trying to get close to it, and you start to realize that that's probably where you're going to start seeing any kind of change. Between Riv, Ivar, and John, you're all kind of being drawn just in the direction of where there seems to be this kind of like centralized spiraling vortex, and you're kind of being drawn in that direction. And
Tractor beam style.
kind of, but it's more of an actual willing thing. You're just like, oh yeah, it's got to be over this way. You just kind of feel that it's over there, and you follow the sense of strength just coming from off of that signal. So everybody manages to get there at about the same time. What you have is probably what would have been some kind of like an outdoor entry point or something for like the internal part of this complex. Whenever they were going to have like stores and shops and things like that, it was meant to be sort of a large social gathering area. There is the skeletal works of what looks to be some sort of like a gazebo, perhaps, or some kind of like sky bridge type construction. Either way, it creates this kind of odd, almost like henge-like structuring with raw materials like some of the actual wrought iron beams and so forth. But when you start to get up close to it, you can tell that these poles are kind of like vibrating a little bit. So the area here is definitely very much enriched with a power all to itself. There's not really a lot of lighting, even though that, you know, like I said, light is just barely starting to pop over from the eastern horizon. You're still not going to get most of it when you're standing down in here because you're surrounded by these larger, you know, not fully assembled structures. And standing within here, there is like a sense that you could shift forward. Now, whatever the gateway is, it's not active enough to pull anybody anywhere, but it is definitely present and here. So you've definitely got it. Now it's just a matter of what next.
This might be a good
Ivar wants to
stop.
see with his occult, can he actually almost sense the gateway a little bit more and like define the parameters and almost see like, is there like a lock that he can just like close it and lock the thing up?
Okay.
And then John's gonna do an occult as well because he's holding the damn thing.
Yep. All right. Well, in this case, yes, you can indicate where that is at. There's actually this sort of baseball-sized looking aperture, but it's three-dimensional, so it's a sphere that can be expanded or contracted depending on what's going on. And that seems to be the way that it works, is that it can be opened up to a point, basically engulfing whatever is in its proximity, and then shrinks back down again and becomes intangible. So that seems to be that a way that it works. It almost opens like a camera shutter, but it's in a three-dimensional space as opposed to being two-dimensional. And then for the occult, you're like, well, the key phrase must be uttered, so it's more like you've got to open that prison up. You don't know exactly how or what it's supposed to do, or if it's going to create any kind of like field or anything, but you do know that you have to be worried about being drawn to it. That seems to be the primary point. Douglas will chime in because he's obviously seen that everybody's collected around it, with Barrack feeding out various data. Douglas goes like, all right, this is what you need to know. You can open the door. You can use the same phrase to close it. The thing is that once the door is open, it creates a draw. At least we hope. It should bring in whatever these creatures are, cause them to actually want to follow it through. Once they are on the inside, it can be closed. You just repeat the same phrase. However, for it to close, it must be uttered inside of your mind, and must not be uttered aloud.
What happens if we utter it aloud?
Simply nothing. It will remain open. That is the contingent difference. Subtle, but important. It will
Very
trick.
subtle.
Yes. Anyone who actually hears the word will think that maybe there is some other way to turn it off and will not realize that they are using the same key to lock the door without using any vocals.
Ivar is just kind of looking around at the group and he's like, should we perhaps create a perimeter to protect us while we are about to do this?
Yeah, that seems like a pretty good idea.
This might be a good stopping point. Or at least I
I've
have
got
to
one
get
more
going.
thing. I've got one more thing to throw at you before that, but yes, that's where it's going to stop. But I need to get it to a point where you guys actually go to activate it.
Yeah, Barrack's going to, kind of see the best place where he can stand and, gun kata, whatever, if anything, tries to sneak up.
I'm wondering if Ivar should do his reality bend that he normally does to like protect him,
Sure.
but see if he can expand it to go around, almost like not a full bend, but almost like an arced bend to, in many ways, channel things away from the group.
Even light.
Perception filter.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So make your roll to create your ambient protective field, and then all we have to do now is set the box somewhere that you guys want to set it, and then see what happens.
And the target for that reality bend is a 7. Any difference? Cause
Not-
for it to be different?
No. Yeah. Definitely not going to be harder. You've got plenty of time to think about it. Yeah, that'll be enough. That's everybody. You've encompassed all.
That's
So-
actually should be at 5 degrees of success. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
God damn, dude.
5 degrees.
All
of
the ones
success.
they're using right there.
Ivar just kind of steps up and just. Boom.
So everybody feels this field emerge around them, and the next thing that's got to happen is just activating the device in and of itself.
John, you ready? Or Colt?
No, it's Sean. And then he looks at it like, where is somebody?
Yeah.
And he presses the nondescript magic button.
Well, in this case, you basically speak the key phrase, and you can feel the whole box just begin to vibrate inside your hand, and it just you basically feel it pull over and it just goes like that and starts to basically just hover in midair.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's
Is
actually
that
a pretty
Ken?
famous moment too. Yeah, it's the moment that the have you guys seen the epic moment that this is referencing?
Yes.
Oh.
Where he basically juked
The
every single
block,
one.
block, 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 block,
Yeah.
block, block, block.
Yeah. The
It's just from Ken's perspective.
I like it. I love the crowd, like, like,
Well, it's pretty intense.
it is. It's perfectly timed blocks.
Yep. So you illuminate that. So the crystals on the inside begin to illuminate, and it starts to spray out this prism-like series of lights in all forms of geometric patterns. And you can see that they're actually hitting off the walls of the other various dilapidated structures. There's even a fluctuation of reality just from within that portal point, right when it kind of like makes contact with the illumination. It's not destabilizing it, but it's definitely causing a fluctuation. When that happens, everybody gets this cold chill down their spine, and it's one of those things where you're just kind of like, ugh. Surprisingly enough, no one of this particular group feels drawn to the device whatsoever. In fact, you feel somewhat mildly repelled. So, that answers the question. Each and every one of you is natural, at least in some way. But you're sitting there just kind of watching that happen, and there is a figure that ends up emerging from the other side, past basically about like 70 feet in front of the group, and he's wearing that 3/4 length jacket, and it's all black. He has absolutely no eyes, and he's just walking slowly in your general direction, with everybody else just kind of looking at him. Of course, he says nothing verbally, but inside of everyone's mind, it's like, fuck, you managed to build another one. I guess I'll have to eat all of you, then.
Or you could just go in the box.
Fuck you, demon. My turn to play, in my world.
Did he just say fuck me?
He wants to have intercourse with you, John.
Yeah, he says that, and you're sitting there going like, did he just say fuck me? And he goes reaching down like this, and you can feel rumblings, and there's like, he's about ready to fucking cut loose, and that is exactly where I'm gonna leave it.
Nice.
Love it.
I love it.
I thought I'd cut loose with his fucking attitude.
Nice.
I even have a bubble with a good old fashioned fuck you.
Fuck you, Douglas.
He didn't fuck you. Yeah, he said fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah, outsiders are not friendly.
Oh, temperamental and moody.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're going to be an agent of chaos, you may as well be something kind of unpredictable, predictable.
That's true.
Yep.
This video is amazing.
I wanna meet this chaos, one of the chaos creatures that is just so lovable. Like, you don't want them to go away. It's like, why would I end this? It's like the friend who brings you the good time party that never ends well, but you always invite them back for another party.
Right.